Welcome back to part two of what's next for Honda. In the first episode, we talked about the brief history of Honda. We talked about 2022, 2023. Now we're into 2024. We're going to talk about electrification and how Honda is evolving and even looking past 2025, 2026. If you missed part one, make sure to watch that because that is going to be the ultimate intro into this. Also watch my Acura, what's next for Acura video. But let's get into 2024 and beyond for Honda. Now, going into the next year is where we start seeing a huge change in the brand. 2024, the Prologue will be coming out. And this is a joint venture between General Motors and Honda. If you like my Gundam merchandise, please check that out. I would appreciate that. It's one of my favorite pieces that I've created. But the Prologue is going to be very, very similar to the Blazer EV is what I'm expecting. It should be pretty much the clone. Both of these vehicles are going to be made down in Mexico at the Ramos Arizpe plant. So what do we know about this all-electric Blazer? Well, we know a lot. We know the design, and I'll play some B-roll for you. We know that the SS has over 550 horsepower, 0 to 60 under 4 seconds, and I think that could line up for a Type S version of the Prologue. Type R version of the Prologue, and the future Type S is for Acura. We know we'll have around 300 miles of range depending on the trim level you get, and we're going to have a bunch of different trim levels, 1LT, 2LT, RS, and SS. So in Honda, who knows? It could be EX, EXL, Touring, and then Type R. That would make sense to me. If we go to the general EV spreadsheet that I have, I put the Blazer, I might as well zoom out on here. The Blazer 1LT is going to be the new entry level for, well, I should say it's entry level trim for the Blazer, and Prologue in theory, it's not going to be cheap, $46K. So even if they have the cheapest trim, it's still not cheap, and Chevy has no EV tax credits yet. Now that could change with legislation and the lawmakers changing that, but they don't do anything fast, so don't get your hopes up. We don't know anything about battery size, but we do know the range is going to be 247 miles for that 46,000 or so priced Blazer Prologue entry level trim. Now, there's also going to be the 2LT, which I don't have on this list, but the RS, which could be like the Grand Touring or the Sport Touring for Honda, for example. It's going to have 320 miles of range. We don't know the motor combination, we don't know the horsepower, we don't know the battery pack size. We know it's going to have 320 miles of range, and we know it's going to cost around $53K after destination. But what about the Type R or the Blazer EV Type, or SS, I should say? This thing is going to be insane. This is in the Warp tier for EVs that I have. I should go head to head against this EV6 GT, Ioniq 5N, 550 horsepower. Also go, with these other, the Mach-E GT Model Y Performance. Anyways, 550, I think it's 557 horsepower, 468 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60. And I just put 3.5 seconds. We don't know exactly. General Motors just says under 4 seconds. We know it's going to have the 100 kilowatt hour battery more than likely taken or shared, should I say, with the Cadillac Lyriq. 290 miles of range, and it's going to come in at $67K. Don't remember if that's before destination or after destination, but around $67K for that Type R Blazer EV SS Prologue sort of vehicle. And that will set the ball rolling for Honda. They want to create 70,000 Prologues per year starting in 2024 and possibly ramp up production after that. So that's a lot of EVs coming out of that Ramos Arizpe plant, not only for Honda, but for General Motors, of course. Now, they also still create the Blazer, maybe even Trailblazer there as well. I'm not an expert on General Motors, as you guys know, but yes, that plant is used for other things other than these EVs that'll be produced there in the near future. And the Prologue will come out about a year after the Blazer EV, which is going to be on sale next summer. So we're a year out from the Blazer EV, and it'll be another year. So mid 2024, I'm expecting for the Prologue. Chevy and Cadillac get precedence and preference initially because it's their platform, it's their plants, and Honda and Acura models will come about a year later. What else is coming 2024? Well, we know the Pilot, Odyssey, and the Passport will already be built on the new architecture for the large vehicle platform. Ridgeline, the pickup truck for Honda, will be as well. I already talked about the powertrains. Hopefully we get a plug-in hybrid. I think Honda would be one of the first, if not only, plug-in hybrid pickup truck on the market, and man, that would really boost sales. What do they need to do to the Ridgeline? Well, they made it macho with last year's refresh. It looks a lot better than it did before. It looked way minivan, kind of like the Pilot, the current Pilot does. So the Ridgeline, they know with like the Passport Trail Sport, they need to make it macho, and it was a good step with that refresh. So I'm expecting a pretty handsome macho looking Ridgeline for the redesign. It won't be body on frame, it'll still be unibody, but hey, that hasn't stopped like the Jeep Grand Cherokees and Jeep Cherokees of the past being unibodies and being excellent off-roading vehicles. We know Honda has powertrain sophistication to be just fine off-road. We'll also get a refresh on the Civic. Now, it'll come out in 2024, but it'll be a 2025 model year. So isn't that crazy? We'll have a refresh for the Civic in 2025, and it already looks great. So I don't know what they're going to change about it. Maybe update the powertrains or something like that. In 2025, so we're moving on to our last year where we can have a little bit of clearness in our crystal ball. I think that's when they could come out with the Prologue Type R, which will mirror the Chevy Blazer EV SS. We'll also get a couple new refreshes on the HRV and the CRV. HRV just came out in 2022, so these will be 2026 model years for the HRV and CRV getting refreshes. So maybe a Accord refresh, but we might not see that until 2026. So take everything I've said so far with a grain of salt because it hasn't been officially confirmed by Honda. Well, some of the things I've mentioned, but I think there's enough logic to say that this roadmap is going to be pretty accurate. Now, with supply chain disruptions, we just don't know what the economy is going to hold either. That could really shift up the release of these vehicles as well. Now, looking into the far future, 2026 and beyond, well, Honda and General Motors are not done working together. In 2027 and beyond, they'll be working together to produce affordable small crossover EVs around $25,000-$30,000 US. So I'm really excited for that. We don't know where these small affordable crossover EVs would be built, so probably at another General Motors plant for sure. But we also have Honda's 2025 e-architecture coming out that's exclusive to Honda and Acura. I'm assuming these vehicles will be built in China, in Japan, as well as North America, where pretty much all of our vehicles for Honda and Acura are built. So of course we'll have a plethora of crossover EVs and maybe a sedan EV or something like that. It'd be awesome to have like the Honda E little hatchback, which Honda had here stateside, but it's not going to happen. But we know that Honda has teased the NSX battery electric vehicle. I mean, I know that's an Acura. We also know that there's an S2000 sort of silhouette underneath a drapery that Honda has teased. So that should be coming in 2025 plus, probably 2026 or later. What they call the S2000, I don't know, but that was the last coupe rear-wheel drive vehicle we've had from Honda. So I'm expecting at least a spiritual successor as an EV for the S2000. And last but not least, Honda and Sony, or Shondi or Sondi, I don't know, however you want to call their brand name, they have a joint venture together. Honda will be building vehicles in Japan, essentially for Sony, using Sony's screens, technology, autonomous driving, their cameras, their sensors. It's going to be really, really cool. We already have concept images of these Sony vehicles. We have a crossover as well as a sedan. And I think a lot of people would be interested. I mean, you're getting the best of both worlds. We know Honda's not the best with technology. They're really damn good at making engines and vehicles. And electric motors they'll have to be as they switch fully electric by 2040. So Honda and Sony teaming up, we should have that vehicle 2025, 2026 or so, and they will be imported into America from Japan from the sounds of it. So a lot of things coming for electrification for Honda. In the meantime, I really want to see more hybridization because gas is expensive, and hybridization just provides the best of both worlds of the EV and as well as the gasoline end, which are both awesome technologies. What are you most excited about for Honda in the near future? For me, I mean, as a family guy, I would love to see a Honda Odyssey plug-in hybrid minivan. That would really make me happy. But what are you guys most excited for? There's a lot of stuff to get in the near future. The Civic Type R, right? We're going to have the new Prologue coming out that's going to have tons of range, tons of power as well. And just, yeah, the new pickup truck, the Ridgeline. There's just so much to get excited for, but I got to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far in the video, haven't hit the like button, what are you doing? I would appreciate that. And subscribe if you're not. So if you look at the bottom of my screen, I am going to be filling out all these spreadsheets on upcoming models. So I've only done Acura and Honda so far, and we got, I don't know, a dozen more of this, what is coming next for these brands. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss my coverage on that. But I got to shut myself up, cut myself off. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves, and peace out.